Good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam's Sports Report. And Sam's Mental Health Day will start with mental health. In this video coming up, you will see that a major depressive disorder, I will refer to a psychotic disorder even though not it's the same thing for right now. I was depressed so much like somebody would have with the major depressive disorder. I didn't care about sports in 2016, and the Chiefs were also not a thing I cared about. And if you met me today or before, you would understand that that's not normal. This person in this story loves piano, but no longer likes it. It's also just what millions and millions of people have lived with. It makes them feel hopeless. It affects their lives, relationship. 3 things there are about depression. Depression is not a choice. Depression does not make you weak, and depression is treatable. If you have symptoms on most days for 2 weeks, this may not seem like it's that long, but for the person it feels like forever. Case piano or playing music made him happy. Like sports make me happy. He had no desire to play it, much like I didn't have no desire to watch it. Appetite for weight can be extreme. I always remember being in the hospital when I would gain lots of weight. In this case, it seems like I lose a lot of weight and can only drink certain things or drink protein shakes to keep him alive. That might be a little stretch, but you get the point. He needs to eat. Depressed, feeling sad, or blue, except major depressive disorder, it severe. Annual means a loss of pleasure. He had to make sure he had his protein shakes so he didn't starve. So he wouldn't eat the whole meal, keeping him at baseline normal. Depression, feeling sad, or blues, except for the major depressive disorder. That's the video part. Now, here's the video, and I'll come back with some comments.
Anything.
I used to really love to play the piano, but while I was depressed, it didn't sound fun at all.
I kept thinking there's just no reason for me to be here anymore.
These are the voices of major depressive disorder. We have all lived through a time when we felt sad and hopeless. But major depressive disorder is more than that. I know. One of these voices is mine. You'd never wish depression on anyone, but millions of people have lived it. It affects their lives, relationships, and goals for the future. It can make them feel hopeless. But 3 things are certain. Depression is not a choice. Depression doesn't mean you are weak, and depression is treatable. Your doctor might diagnose major depressive disorder, or MDD, if you have symptoms on most days for at least 2 weeks. That might not seem like a long time, but ask anyone who's lived through it and they'll tell you it feels like forever. The main symptoms are depressed mood, or anhedonia. Depressed mood is feeling sad or blue, which a lot of people experience. Except with MDD, it's severe, and it doesn't go away. Anhedonia means loss of pleasure. In my case, playing the piano had always made me happy. When I was depressed, I had no desire to play. The other symptoms of MDD include appetite or weight changes. This can be up or down. I had no appetite and had to make myself drink those protein shakes in a can to make sure I didn't starve. Guilt. This is more than typical guilt everyone feels sometimes. In MDD, guilt makes you feel worthless and takes over your thoughts. Sleep problems. Some people can't fall asleep, or they wake up super early and can't get back to sleep. Other people sleep all day. Difficulty thinking or concentrating. I had a really hard time making decisions. I was frustrating to my friends. I couldn't help it. Looking restless and agitated, or really slowed down. I felt like I was in slow motion. fatigue. For me, feeling tired all the time was crushing. I had no energy to do anything. Suicidal thoughts. This is the part of depression that's dangerous. If you or someone you love is having thoughts of hurting or killing yourself, get help immediately. Call 911 or call or chat the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which is always available. As painful as MDD is, there is hope. There are treatments for depression that work. Talk to your doctor or any mental health care provider. Ask for help. It works. People can go on to live happy lives. I know. I did.
After that video was played in Major Depressive Disorder, some people sleep and can't go back to bed. Some people sleep all day. Some people stay in bed all day, trying to go back to sleep. Difficult thinking or concentrating. They have a hard time making decisions. They can be frustrating to their friends, looking relentless or agitated, restless or agitated, feeling really slowed down. It felt like I was in slow motion for him, and fatigue was crushing that. Suicidal thoughts are part of the depression. You're not really in a state of psychosis, although you can be, but you're also enough aware that you can think about committing suicide. When you're totally psychotic, you don't think about committing suicide. For example, when I was psychotic, I couldn't feel the depression on. I had too much on my mind of the psychosis. This part is dangerous. If you have thoughts of killing yourself, please call 988. As painful as it is, there is treatment for depression. Work or talk to your providers, psychologist, therapist, and MD, primary care, mental health provider, just something. Sometimes you have primary care because you don't need a psychiatrist, but in some cases you do, and in likelihood, if you have major depression, you will have a psychiatrist. Trust me, there is hope, but it will always be hard times and setbacks. He's not telling you that, I'm telling you that. People can go on and live happy lives. Well, it tells you, is they're happy, but sad can still go on, and you still might need to get help after the first time you do it. I know I don't even have the same thing, but I can tell you that there will be struggles. One thing I don't like is when people tell you that everyone has it hard. Yes, everyone may have it hard, but you have the mental health disorder that makes it harder. They don't have the mental health disorder in most cases. It would be helpful if they say, I struggle with this, instead of them saying, it's hard for everybody. Yes, it may be hard for everybody, but that's just not what you say to somebody who has mental health disorders. Now on to baseball. The Royals blow a ninth inning lead, giving up the tying run. And then giving up a blast of making it 7-. Diamondbacks would add one more. The Royals tried to come back but fell short. 8-6 tying run came to the plate, but Salvi fell about mid to deep left field and was out. It needed about 40 more feet for Salvador Perez to tie the game. Royals have the day off today and will start a series with the Cubs tomorrow. The Brewers scored a go-ahead run in the ninth, the Brewers scored a go-ahead run in the ninth to beat the Cubs, and Joe Palm got the save. The Brewers took 2 out of 3 from the Cubs, and it looks like more and more they're selling. They have a matchup with the Royals this weekend at the K. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. The Cards lose and get shut out 5-0. And the Pirates win the series after taking the first game and the third game. Cardinals are back to 4 over 500, which is the same place they started the All-Star break at. We'll talk about all the games tomorrow and more. And maybe getting some baseball, who should be closing for the Royals, and if they need to add a reliever and outfielder. That's all to come in future podcasts. This is Sam for Sam Sports Report.